Welcome to Those Four Letters. I'm Chris Johnson, UCLA national champion, and your host, here to unpack the soul of UCLA basketball. Today, we are honored to feature Charlisse Leger-Walker, a trailblazing guard who's electrified the world of women's basketball with her dazzling play and unbreakable spirit. From balling on the world stage for New Zealand to record-breaking performances at Washington State to her triumphant returns and new beginnings with UCLA, Charlisse's journey is a testament to perseverance, passion, and the pursuit of greatness. How are you? Thank you for joining the show.
I am great. Thank you for that introduction. That's really
Oh,
nice.
well, absolutely. Well, you deserve it. I mean, you've put in the time, you've put in the work. I was really taken aback when you joined our team last year. I had no idea that you would be coming. So it was like a really big deal for all of us who had watched you play the last several years, kind of kick our butts, give us the blues, if you will. You're one of my favorite guards in the old Pac-12.
Oh, thank
Um, Let me ask you this. You play a definitive style of basketball. Where did you begin? Where did that journey start for you back in New Zealand?
Great question. I have been playing basketball obviously my whole life. I tell people I started when I was 3, and a lot of that is because of my mum. She played in our national team, captained them to 2 Olympics, and for New Zealand, that's a really big thing.
Amazing.
We haven't been back since her team competed in 2004. So
Mhm.
she obviously grew up under her coaching, and she taught me everything I know, and just loved the game ever since I was really little, and also got to watch my older sister play a lot, and obviously being competitive would always want to play in her teams and
Mhm.
play up in age groups and things like that. So yeah, I just played all throughout high school, all throughout, representative levels.
Mhm.
Started playing on my national team pretty young, and always knew that I wanted to come and really test myself over here in the States in the college system and hopefully go beyond that after my career in college.
Absolutely. I was curious, how old were you when you first started playing for the national team? How old were you?
I was 16.
So you were 16 years old and you were playing on the U16s at the time, right?
Yep, I was playing in my age group teams and then also the women's national team as well.
And just talk about a little bit about how that dynamic, as we see an influx of players from all over the globe coming over to play in the United States. Talk about how that experience, being a younger player, but also having the experience of playing on the senior team, how it sharpened your game.
Yeah, it was massive for my development. Like I said, growing up, I would always try and find opportunities to play with my older sister and even, against boys whenever I could. And when I kind of got introduced into the women's national scene and just playing on that team, just being around pro players already at that age
Yeah.
was huge for my, development, not just in my skill, but also my IQ and how I learned how to read the game. And then
Hmm.
also just playing international basketball. I mean, I
Yeah.
got exposed to so many different styles of play very early on and kind of got thrown into the fire a little bit when I first made the team. I think it was back in 2018. I had no idea that I would make that team. I honestly just went.
It was a surprise for you.
It was a big surprise, yeah. And so obviously New Zealand is part of the Commonwealth,
Hmm.
and at that particular trial, it was they were selecting the team to go to the Commonwealth Games, and for us that's, massive. And
Hmm. Hmm.
I kind of went to the trial and was just like, let me just show up, have fun, see how it goes. Not expecting to play at all because we still had a lot of our veteran players in the mix, and I was just like, let me go be a kind of like a punching bag for them.
Of course.
Then got the call about a week later from the coach, and he was like, "No, look, you played really well, and I have see a lot of potential in you, and I want to bring you in to the team and let you play." And then that was like the biggest shock ever, and went into that campaign and ended up actually.
How old were you? How old were you when you got
I
that call?
was
16?
16,
Okay,
yeah,
16. All right, cool.
just
That's
turned
crazy.
16,
That's
yeah.
wild. You're probably one of the youngest in the world that were doing that at the time. You're a unique prospect talent. Like in the big times programs, like Luka Doncic, for example, 15, 16, playing in Real Madrid, first division. You're
Mhm.
and it's a similar dynamic. I try to explain to people that overseas basketball isn't no joke.
Yeah.
Charlisse, just I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit so I can tie it together, like
Mhm.
why I'm so familiar with your experience. I've spent 7 seasons overseas. I spent the bulk of my time in a country called Qatar, right? Qatar is
Mm.
in like the Middle East. It's like by
Yep. I
Dubai,
know where that is.
but it's Asia. So I competed in all the continent of Asia stuff, which I was watching a lot of your stuff. And I was
Yep.
like, oh yeah, she's in Oceania and
Mhm.
Asia and doing that whole deal over there. So there was a lot of similarities there. But I tried to explain to people how important that was. And back to you. Now,
Mhm.
practicing being on that first division practice grind,
Mhm.
how much did that like make you mentally tougher versus, I know it did some things for your skill set, but like
Yeah.
the mental aspect of it, going against grown women every
Oh.
single day, what did that do for you?
Oh my gosh, it everything, like you were saying, playing against those Asian teams, playing against Japan, China, even Australia, who comes in, is also in that region.
Mm-hmm.
The guards that you go up against is the best in the world. Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those Asian teams and even European players, we don't get to see them as much in America because they stay in their home leagues. But,
Yeah.
playing against the Japanese guards is the hardest guards I've ever played against in my life. And China, they're on your hip the whole time. In FIBA, it's so much more physical. They let everything go. So if you're not on every single second of that game and
Yes.
there's no place for complacency or being casual, like every movement that you do has to be intentional. And
Mm-hmm.
that was huge. One, of course, for my skills, but two, just the mental side of being able to stay present in every single moment
Mm-hmm.
is huge for me. And I'm so glad that I got, exposed to that really early because I do think it's helped a lot transition into, Division 1 basketball where obviously everyone is so competitive. There's so many different styles around, when I was in the Pac-12 and then
Yep.
also playing against different conferences. But just being able to bring that mental maturity of understanding the game at a different pace as
Mm-hmm.
well,
Mm-hmm.
it was so crucial for me coming over here. And I think it really helped me a lot, especially in my early freshman, sophomore years. Like I felt really prepared. And I think that's kind of what gave me a little bit of an edge coming in, being international, not being exposed to college as much. So it was huge for me.
Absolutely. You came in and were three-time or four-time all Pac-10. You were the excuse me, 12. You were the Pac-12 freshman of the year, and you were a 9-time Pac-12 either player of the week or freshman of the week. Like you were just getting it done. I have to throw this out there. Washington State's third leading scorer, right? Fourth in assists, second in made threes. Like, come on. I mean, you absolutely turned it out. But that brings me to my next question.
Hmm.
You had plenty of options to transfer. You were in one of the hottest prospects in the portal last season at guard position. What made you decide to pick Corey Close in the UCLA Bruins?
Yes, I get this question a lot, obviously. But for me, the biggest thing has always been the people. And I know a lot of people, talk about that all the time, but even if you go back or if I reflect on my freshman year, or my freshman self being recruited,
Mm-hmm.
that was my biggest priority. Obviously, I'm away from home, so far away from home.
Yeah,
I am, if I got homesick or there was something going wrong, it's not like I could just get on a plane and go home for the weekend. So
sure.
I knew I had to go somewhere where not only obviously the basketball had to be at a good enough level where I could improve my game, but two, it was who I was surrounding myself with that it felt like a second family to me. And so when I was going into the transfer portal the second time round, obviously college athletics, the landscape is a lot different now, but that was still my number one priority was the people. And
Mhm.
looking and speaking to Coach Corey, coming on the visit and just getting to know the girls, getting to know the program and really seeing how holistic the program is in itself was really big for me. And I felt like I could see myself fit into that program, not just the basketball side, but also just slotting in and really expanding everything outside of my, just basketball lens, like the networking, the
Yeah.
alumni base, obviously
Yeah.
yourself, like being able to connect with people like you is, I think, really rare a lot in college athletics. And UCLA does such a good job at that. And I was
Yes.
really excited about, those opportunities. And then to me, it was just a bonus that obviously the program has so many talented girls. Everybody is so willing to, work really hard, and most all of my team wants to go pro. And that's something that other programs didn't have as much, and I wasn't as used to. So a lot of those factors played into kind of that overall decision of wanting to go to UCLA.
And when you say that other programs necessarily didn't have the same level, were you talking about grind, like mentality of like, hey, we're about to do this every single day, or was it something else you were referring to?
Definitely the mentality side of it, like
Okay.
the extra work that this team puts in before, after practice, and how dedicated they are. There's no doubt in like in anyone's mind, if you were to walk in our gym, all of them want to go pro. They want to get to that next level, and sometimes that's rare to find. You maybe have 1 to 4 on your team who are really at that level and want to go far.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very rare to have majority of your team at that in that same mindset. So that was a big thing for me too.
And I think it's something that us as fans, we absolutely love and adore to see when Coach Close posts the individual drills, the workouts, and the skill sessions with all the Coach Tasha, Coach Clark, and everybody's out there, and you guys are getting into it, and you guys got contraptions and stuff. You're throwing the ball here off of this thing and going. I love it. I mean, and then it definitely translates. Staying on the Bruins last year. Now, I too set out during a championship final. I set out during a Final Four run, but then we won the title. I had like a hurt leg, so I had a different kind of lens.
Yeah.
You were in a similar position last year,
Mhm.
watching us make our first Final Four appearance in the NCAA area. Now, how did that experience, that run, that's just the highs and the lows of everything, how did it shape your understanding of UCLA's culture?
I think it's just a massive testament to the foundation that's been laid for this team. We uh, talk about a lot the teams and the players that have come before us in this program, and when you mix the foundation and the culture that they've built over time and the culture that Coach Corey tries to instill every day in practice, we're very adamant about, what values we're trying to hold the standard to. And we talk all about that. But seeing it come to fruition for this team because of the talent we had and everything kind of just falling into place, from my perspective, I was just so grateful to literally have a front row seat to watch all of that. And
Mm-hmm.
also, be the type of teammate who can still make an impact in helping them anyway, yes, on the court, but also bringing the experience of, just being in college for a couple years and,
Yeah.
just helping them navigate how much pressure that can be, especially, our team was pretty young, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest, like
Yeah.
last year. And
For
so
sure.
just helping them navigate that and also getting to see, the fruits of their labor work out in the end. Obviously not the finish we wanted, but to even get to that point and have the type of season we did, I was just so grateful that I could, be a part of that. And also it just makes me, so much more hungry to like want to be on the floor with them out there in any way I can. But didn't take any of that for granted, because obviously being in college for a while now, you don't get those opportunities a lot. And
No, you
so
don't.
that was kind of my perspective that I had on it, and that's how I really tried to help shape their perspective a little bit, especially our younger ones who
Yeah.
this is all they've known, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, no,
Mm-hmm.
you went to a Final Four in your first year, like that's crazy.
I know.
You've only lost 3 games in your entire college career right now. Like that's not normal.
Yeah.
So I think what the biggest thing for me was really trying to keep everything in perspective for everyone and just, you know, keep reminding them that the our normal is not normal. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, we all have a role. Like what my role, I had like superstitions. So I would like wear towels on my face if we were down or if we were up, I would do things and I was, but sure, it was one of those things where you got to find something, because it sucks to be not out there,
hmm
especially on those big stages. You
hmm
get to the Final Four, it's like you're looking at the floor, you're looking at the arena, and it's a whole nother type of deal. And you're
Yeah.
like, man, I wish I can get some jumpers up out here.
Right.
Like, I wish I could,
Right.
like golly. But so anyway, moving on and staying on sort of the youth last year. So unfortunately, all the youth darn near has migrated, found greener pastures elsewhere,
hmm
most of which are in the conference as rivals. Talk to me about how you guys handle that now in the age of NIL? Because this is something that's sort of in the 90s, right? You had to sit out 2 years if you transfer.
Mhm.
There was none of that. There's no, monetary concerns or anything like
Mhm.
that, publicly at least, that
Yeah.
we were able to consider. So it was like, there's no way we're leaving. You have six total players leave, four
Mhm.
freshmen are out.
Mhm.
How do the leaders on the team keep everybody together, kind of weathering this storm? It's a mini storm, if you will. I won't
Yeah.
call it a crazy storm, but it's sort of a storm, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it is obviously a difficult situation, and I think I have quite a unique perspective on it just because obviously when I started college, the transfer rules were still the same.
Mm-hmm,
So I was able to, see that side of it. NIL obviously wasn't a thing, but also, no, but now I'm obviously here in this era too, and
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I have mixed feelings about it because I'm obviously power to the athletes and being able to monetize your name and I think that's been something that's been in the works for a while and I'm happy that athletes have that opportunity now, but I am also very aware of how difficult that makes it, not just for coaches but for team culture, for team uh,
Continuity.
exactly, and one of my biggest things that I'm going to take away from college, especially being at WSU for 4 years, is my friendships that I made. And those friendships were only, that solid because I was with those girls for 4 years. And so it's more, I
Yeah,
feel sad for, freshmen or college athletes that are coming in now that they're basically on 9 month contracts and they can decide, if they want to stay, if they don't want to stay, but it's just not going to be the same experience for them. And so, with our team and our freshmen leaving, that was, kind of a hard pill to swallow just because I know what it's like to be at other programs and just have different resources available. And again, I'm in the kind of in the boat of you don't really know how good you have it. And when you go to other places, you just never know until you get there. And
sure.
obviously wish them nothing but the best. And they all have different reasons, their own reasons for wanting to leave. But I think what's been really cool about our team is, the core of us who are obviously here and returning, we all have really the same mindset in our goal that we want for this team. And we're very much, we just want to win. And a lot of time it's hard because when you have different dynamics in the team where it becomes about playing time and it becomes about other things that obviously gets in the way of, just going out there and doing what's the best for the team. But, our girls that are still here are really bought into just the culture of we over me. And, our spring workouts have been amazing. We've been in the gym having so much fun and it's just kind of focusing on the good rather than worrying about what could have been, the ifs, the buts, and and just kind of moving on past that. Obviously, reflecting on it and
Sure.
seeing if there's anything in our power that we could have done better to, I don't know, maybe helped them in throughout the season if they were feeling a sort of way. But the majority of it is just focusing on who we have, what we have, and really just trying to make the most of it because we don't really have time to, worry about that. And we're all still good. I mean, we still see all of them. We hang out with them and until they leave. But yeah, it's just kind of navigating that. And everyone who we have here, we're all going to be basically seniors next year, except for Amanda. So we're all kind of on the same page of, if you want to be here, we want you here. And if you don't, then, we kind of wish you the best in wherever you want to go.
Last thing on that topic, when we play Michigan or Indiana, Oregon or SC, or, hopefully we see North Carolina too. If we when we play them, is there going to be any extra incentive for you guys, or is it just another game?
Oh, of course. We're
Okay,
coming,
good,
we're coming, and we're going hard in those games for
good.
sure.
Love to hear that. I love to hear that. I was just making sure it's still on. It's still on.
Right. It's
Uh,
love off the court, but on the court, you know what it is.
Oh yeah, got to give them the business. Stand on business. Quick knee check in. How's your knee doing? How's the recovery coming along? How's it feel? Are you're doing everything 100%, right? Update us.
Yes, thank you for asking. I'm fully back, 100% cleared. I've been back for probably 2 months. I was actually training like towards the end of the season. Obviously, I wasn't going to play.
Mhm.
But yeah, I feel my knee feels great. Don't really think about it at all, which is
Awesome.
amazing. Feel really strong and back to, just hooping. So it's been really fun.
No, that's awesome. And the thing about you is you're a hooper. You said it yourself. And then with that, what I saw and what I watched you do is being ability to play on the ball, direct traffic, your high level and ball screens, especially with your pacing and your looks, the movements. You'll look people off, and then your stop and go, hesitation, pick up speed, and then stop on a dime.
Mm.
It's big time. And then you're always square. I know I'm just sitting here breaking down your game, but you're always square on catch and shoot. Everything's always ready, locked in, feet coming. And so my question kind of is one of those things where what are you most comfortable doing? Are you most comfortable on the ball? Or are you most comfortable off the rock?
Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, I love being on the ball and being in that decision-making role.
Mm-hmm.
I love setting up my teammates. I prefer a great assist over a great bucket. Like that's just how I've always played.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty close. Like I don't love one more than the other, just depending on the situation, but
Mm-hmm.
love being in that decision-making role.
Yeah, no, and I love this idea. This like we kind of throw around these concepts of the rosters. When we found out that Neepkins was coming, and now we get to like kind of throw these things out. It's
Yeah.
kind of one of those content things where you get people to start talking, but it's really fun to look at because you're now when you're looking at it. I mean, you're talking about five high level at one time, almost all the time, but skilled and efficient, and
Mm.
and the fact that Lauren's in the middle. I mean, you guys' game is going to open up. Is that something you guys talk about like now? Is it something you guys are building that chemistry, working on reads and, just movement? I don't know what you might be
Mhm.
working on, but is it something that's in your heads now well before the season begins?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was having conversations, with Coach Corey even throughout last season. And obviously it's talking about things like that, but especially this summer when we were recruiting Gianna, we would be having those conversations before she even got here, is she someone we think can help our team? How would she fit into our team? Like we were having those conversations
Mm-hmm.
before she even came on her visit. So uh me, Coach Corey, and Kiki also sit down and have point guard film every week and we talk about all of that stuff. How do we see people in certain roles? We have so much talent and so much versatility. We can play so many people off the ball, on the ball. So it's definitely, conversations that we have all the time and implement into spring workouts right now. Like we're working on different reads, getting Lauren off the ball more, bringing her off handoffs outside the perimeter, having guards post up, like a lot of different looks, and that's why I'm enjoying spring so much because we're so creative with a lot of our stuff.
No, yeah, and you have the versatility. All of you have the versatility to be that creative. How's Amanda
Yeah.
Muse looking? She was very promising before she was injured. Very active body inside. It gives a lot of energy. I'm really curious just how she's looking. If you don't mind, giving us a quick update on Amanda.
Yes, sorry, just putting my charger in.
No problem.
Amanda's looking great. Her confidence just throughout the past year and going into the spring workouts has improved immensely. And this is the words of the people who were here her freshman year. But
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky because obviously she redshirted with me, so I've spent so much time with her. Mandy's like my little sister. I absolutely love her, but her game and just the confidence and her decision making, her shot outside the perimeter, her left hand finishing is as good as her right, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all of that from the first day I met her and the first workout we had to now, completely different person. So I am so excited for her this upcoming season and, hopefully her getting some more opportunities to really showcase that and just build that confidence that she has right now.
Any plans for you this summer? That's maybe I don't know. What are you going to be up to this summer? We're curious.
I do get to go home for a little bit, which
Awesome.
so excited about. I'm not doing any national team stuff. I just told them I actually just turned it down a couple weeks ago, but more because I would just want to get back here in the summer and really dedicate, a full off season just to skill work, getting in the gym, just being more comfortable and working my way back into fully, playing full games and things like that. So I'll be here most of the summer, just Working away.
That's good. No, that's good.
Mhm.
That's important. I mean, that's a big step for you to turn down the national team opportunity because that comes up all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that your federation isn't one of those federations that be really tripping on people like, yo, you better break you. Hey, man, you better come back over here for the summer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
some of
New
us.
Zealand doesn't have as many options, so they can't be cutting ties like that. We don't have
No,
as many people.
no, 100%. Now, real quick, I kind of was curious about this deal between New Zealand.
Mhm,
I've never been. Now I've been to like Australia, Perth, Melbourne,
mhm.
Sydney, Brisbane. I've been to Bora Bora.
Okay.
I've been to Tahiti, but
Okay.
I've never been to New Zealand. Now compare it to Southern California. Is it similar? Are there similarities about climate at all? Because I've never been. Is it on the? You grew up on the beach, right? Or is that not accurate?
I didn't grow up right on the beach, but
Okay.
I'm cl when I say that I'm like 45 minutes from the beach. So
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
New Zealand is obviously very small, 6 million people. So very slow pace, but the climate is probably pretty similar to if you were to go down more towards Laguna, Dana Point. I was actually just there over the weekend, which is
Yes.
why it's on top of my mind.
No, I don't blame you.
But we get all 4 seasons,
Okay.
so
Oh, okay.
it's not, yeah, not super hot all the time, obviously in the summer, but all 4 seasons. Where I am, it doesn't snow, just rains in the winter.
Okay.
But yeah, pretty more of a tropical, I would say, climate.
Did you play any rugby or anything like that out there at all?
I
Soccer?
did when I was really little, when I
Okay.
was really young, but my dad played rugby and broke like every bone in his body. So for me, very early on, I was like, no, I'm not trying to get hit like that.
But you do dish out you do give people the shoulder and
Oh yeah.
there's nothing that someone can do once that shoulder's I'm the same way. So
Yeah.
I know what time it is with the shoulder.
Yeah, that's
Uh
my Polynesian side of me coming out.
a couple more questions and we'll let you go. I was curious about your just do you have any pregame rituals before you're getting hyped, prepared for a big time game? Is there something, a song you might listen to, a meal you may eat? Talk to me.
Not a specific song, but I do something which is kind of different. And I don't really listen to like hype up music or like rapping or anything like that. I
Okay.
would rather listen to like island music, like very chill, calm myself down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just think it, kind of makes me feel a lot more like Zen mode,
Yeah.
chill.
Yeah.
And I'll do that whilst doing my hair for like 40 minutes
Mm.
before a game.
Nice. Oh, that's
Oh, I
nice.
usually nap. I usually nap early on, like either before pregame or right after,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll get up and do my hair and just chill out before the game. So,
Wow, that's pretty dope. People I've talked to usually like Jaime. I interviewed Jaime Jaquez a couple years ago. He did his song was Joey Badass or some guy. I was like, Joey Badass, who is that? He's like, I don't know, it's a rapper, man. I was like, all right, Jaime, whatever.
yeah, whatever works.
But no, that's funny. Um I was curious because I didn't get to ask you earlier. Now, what's your major currently at UCLA?
I'm doing a master's in education right now.
Master's in education. So
Mhm.
is would teaching be in your future long after your basketball career ends, or what are you planning on doing with it?
So the specific course that I'm taking is called Transformative Leadership and Coaching.
Oh, okay.
It's just in the education area, I
Nice,
guess.
nice.
But honestly, I am not sure what I want to do with that. My undergrad was in business management.
Awesome.
So have, a lot of different
Well, you got
arrangements.
options. You got
A lot of
options.
options,
Okay.
exactly.
And you got a
Uh,
UCLA network. And so the sky is the limit.
exactly. So I don't have one specific thing in mind, but
Okay.
with the coaching side of things, and one of the reasons why I went into business is because I have a basketball academy back home that I started before I came to college.
Wow.
And it just started out as me coaching kids one-on-one.
Sure.
Some parents, kind of asked me to do that, and then kind of grew from 5 to 20 to almost 60 kids back at home. And
Wow.
so
It's awesome.
yeah, so me and my family have been running that since I've basically been in college. And obviously, while I'm over here, I kind of do the admin side of things and help push it out on social media and stuff. But the reason I went into business was to see if I could actually turn that back into a full-on business when I got back and figure out how I can kind of make an impact that way. Because
Yeah,
obviously, growing up, I used to go to a lot of camps with, family, friends, and coaches in New Zealand, and
sure.
it's a big testament to where I am today. So, it's just a way for me to give back and do something. So, I don't know, maybe something in that realm when I go back. Now I have the coaching certificate of it too. So
No,
maybe
it's
I'm more
amazing.
qualified, but we'll see.
I think you'd be qualified if you had the certificate or not.
Yeah.
Just all you have to do is have the want to
Mhm.
teach. You know, if you have that want to teach and impart, what you know to the
Yeah.
next generation, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Final question, then I'll let you go. What are your personal goals for this season, and what are your goals for UCLA women's basketball this season?
My goal for UCLA women's basketball is definitely to take home a national championship. I mean, that is, I think, the next step, the next level for us, and we're fully capable of doing that. Um, and doing it in a way, where we're proud of the way we're playing and uh, just,
Mm-hmm,
really team style based play.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
For myself, honestly, my biggest thing is just to really enjoy and have fun in my last collegiate year of basketball. I mean, when I did my first year round of being a senior, I felt a lot of pressure going into the season, and I don't think I got to enjoy as many of those moments as I did because, I was thinking so much about the future. And so, personally, for me this year, it's a lot about obviously having fun and doing what I do on the court, but really just taking every moment not for granted and just being grateful for, being blessed enough to be out on the court again after
mm-hmm,
being out for so long and just really trying to help make my teammates better as well around me. I think that's one of the biggest things, like in a point guard role,
mm-hmm.
to do. So I would say those things.
That's awesome. Those are awesome goals, Charlisse, and we will be watching every step of the way. Wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming through, joining the show. Um, and we'll be talking soon. I'm Chris Johnson. This is Charlisse Leger-Walker. You're listening to those four letters signing off. Stay true, stay blue, and stay golden.